So who made the 2008 financial crash happen? Well, it was a lot of lords, really. There were the lord mortgage lenders who preyed on people with lucrative subprime mortgages rigged to explode into foreclosures. There were the lord big banks that bought all those exploding mortgages and then, with the help of lord ratings agencies, sold those exploding mortgages to investors. Senator Carl Levin spoke about this issue.
Should Goldman Sachs be trying to sell a deal? Your top priority to sell is that deal. You knew it was a deal. Boy, that Timberwolf was one deal.
There were also the lord robo-signers who forged documents that allowed the banks to kick people out of their homes. And then there was lord AIG, which collected a fee from all the other lords in order to insure all those exploding mortgages for a load of money, giving those other lords peace of mind in their scheme, knowing that if, or when, these exploding mortgages exploded, AIG would pay them for it. Then the exploding mortgages exploded, as exploding mortgages tend to do, and it turns out AIG didn't have the money to cover all the losses. Which is why banks started hemorrhaging cash, and why businesses started laying off workers, and why John and I have been manufacturing what he calls brain busters made out of overheated Hot Pockets and Silly Putty.
It's gonna save us. It's gonna save the world.
And then eating them to deal with our depression. And we all know how this crisis was eventually dealt with. The U.S. government, with the support of the people, seized control of the lord institutions, and then threw in jail or fired all the slimy SOBs who perpetrated this scheme, and then renegotiated all those exploding mortgages to keep Americans in their homes, and then passed new laws to make sure none of this would ever happen again, and then put back to work those unfortunate Americans who lost their jobs by rebuilding the nation's crumbling infrastructure and transitioning to clean, renewable energy, prompting a full-scale military withdrawal from conflict zones around the world. And it was good. Man, this stuff really makes your brain feel weird. That's not how we dealt with it. Turns out there were lords equally. While nationalizing the banks was considered, what actually happened was the government gave all those lords from AIG down hundreds of billions of dollars, and then turned its back on millions of Americans who were fraudulently kicked out of their homes.
Boy, that Timberwolf was one deal.
Add in some special tax breaks worth billions, and the lords of were rich again. And like a mouse with a cookie, something happens when you give a lord money. He asks for a glass of milk, and then $40 billion more dollars. Which is why I'm here at the United States Court of Federal Claims, where former AIG CEO Maurice Greenberg is suing the U.S. government, now claiming that said bailout, which he personally, as well as his shareholders, made a fortune off of, was unconstitutional. And despite the fact that he and his shareholders would have been wiped out in bankruptcy without the bailout, he's asking for another $40 billion from taxpayers in damages. Which means the prophecy is true.
Let it be known, an octogenarian shall receive his day in court and rise up above all others as the lord of them all.
And the anointed Greenberg has the support of his ilk. He's raised several $1 million from Wall Street to fund his case. And he has clown reporters at CNBC actually saying the trial isn't as crazy as you might think. Oh, it is. It is crazy, and Greenberg likely won't win. But something interesting might come from this case. All the lords are reuniting and testifying under oath, meaning we might, for the first time, get some answers. There have been 0 trials examining the financial crisis. Senator Elizabeth Warren made that point at a recent hearing with bank regulators.
That every time there's a settlement and not a trial, it means that we didn't have those days and days and days of testimony about what those financial institutions had been up to.
So it's here where we might finally learn what actually motivated the bailouts, thanks to the audacity of the ultimate lord. You know, I'm starting to like this Maurice Greenberg fellow. It seems like he's got a lot of chutzpah, you know? What? Oh yeah, I'm on Brain Busters. That makes sense. Well, reporting from Washington, D.C., Sam Sachs, redacted tonight.